It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Good morning and welcome to the kitchen on this very fine Wednesday. The phone lines have officially been opened because there's a culinary hotline bling! Now, with World Baking Day happening on Friday, we've taken it upon ourselves just to make it World Baking Week. So we're going to have a totally baked theme for our hotline this morning. I'm not the biggest baker, to be honest with you, so I've brought a friend along. Sebastian Newman. I want to say welcome to the kitchen, but this is your kitchen. Hi. Can we give Sebastian a hand, please? Woo! Sebastian, you are our expert when it comes to baking.
Am I?
You official, and you're going to take us through our first cake today, which is?
A chocolate cake, so a moist chocolate cake. So we asked the viewers, we were like, what do you want to see? What's your favorite bakes? And they came up with 2 recipes, and the first one was a chocolate cake.
Right.
So I was actually talking to Megan just before we came on.
My Megan?
Yes.
My
Mrs.
wife?
Pedro,
Okay,
Megan,
yes.
Yeah. And she was like, think Matilda. Bruce, I'm not going to say his surname because I can't get to it.
Bruce Bogtrot.
And you know that scene where he's like, and they're like, go, Brucey. And he's eating that cake?
Yes.
That's the type of chocolate cake
That's exactly the chocolate cake I want. So this morning, if you have any questions for Sebastian, any questions, ask him about baking, ask him about his personal life. Please send us voice notes to our WhatsApp number. Sebastian, what's the WhatsApp number?
063-408-8863.
I told you he lives here. Sebastian, thank you so much. Send those voice notes through and we will play them live. And again, what won't you answer? Where's the line? Where's the line?
We're answering baking related
Just baking related questions.
Yeah, let's stick to the kitchen.
For now.
Huh?
Okay, Sebastian, chocolate sponge.
Yes.
Sounds simple, but there's certain things you can do to get that final result, which is what you said, that Matilda looking like
cake.
chocolate cake. Okay.
So obviously I've taken some creative liberties here, and it's not exactly that one, because you know that one's got that dark chocolate ganache on it. We did a chocolate ganache as well, a whipped chocolate ganache, and I'll walk you through how we made that.
Okay.
But I've got a few simple things that I do to get the texture that I like. Also in life, everybody's got preferences. Everybody's got a way that they like their cake to be. So maybe you like it more spongier. I like it a bit more fudgier. It needs to be like fudgy, but light.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
There we
so
go.
let's get into it. You're going to jump on this side for me because you're not going to stand here and do nothing, Clem.
Not today.
Just so that you know.
So
over there you've got 2 eggs. Into that you're going to add some muscovado sugar.
Okay.
So now muscovado sugar is brown sugar with some molasses in there.
Okay.
And the reason I like using that is because that molasses adds to like that fudgy texture.
Okay.
Okay.
And a bit of flavor?
Bit of flavor as well, obviously like a sweeter sponge. Okay.
There we go, and I'm whisking it through.
You're going to whisk that through for me. To that, you're going to add some buttermilk and oil. Now, I know a lot of people, there's different ways of making sponge, right? So you can do the creaming method, all of those different types of methods out there. But oil is a liquid at room temperature. So already, you want all your ingredients, firstly, when it comes to baking, you usually want all your ingredients at the same temperature, right? So it's also just going to result in a moisture, like a bit of a moisture cake.
So when you say
moist a lot today.
When you say everything at the same temperature, I'm gonna take my earpiece out. Okay, cool. When you say same temperature, so you're talking about the buttermilk, everything
Try
at the same
and
get
it, except for one ingredient.
What's that?
I'm going to tell you that. So we've got some hot coffee over here. So now you'll see some chocolate recipes, so chocolate brownies. We're going to be doing some brownies later on in the show. We're doing the chocolate cake here. But chocolate and coffee are just like one of those matches that are just made in heaven.
Okay.
Okay, so the hot coffee also activates our leavening agents that we've got here, which is our baking powder and bicarb.
Explain to the people what a leavening agent is.
A leavening agent helps your cake to just arise.
It's the lift. It's the airiness and the lightness.
The lift. So, you know, sometimes in life you're feeling down.
Okay.
And you just need somebody to lift you up.
Preach, brother. Amen.
You just need somebody to lift you up. And that's what our baking powder and our bicarb is going to do for us today.
So, South Africa, the message, what he's basically trying to say is, you need to be the baking powder in someone's life today, okay? Go and do that. Go and do that. Go and give them
Go
love.
out there and be a leavening agent.
Go be a leavening agent. Okay, so here we go. This is our sugar and our, what was this again?
Eggs.
Eggs.
Yes, so to that you're going to add in all that oil. Looks like a lot added in. And then you're going to add in your buttermilk as well. Then you've got some vanilla. I'm just going to pop that in there for you. And besides activating the leavening agents and just going liquor with our chocolate, which is our cocoa powder in this recipe, it also is going to help to dissolve that
The sugar.
Come through.
Science.
Oh, but before we do that, we're going to pop a little bit of vinegar into here because vinegar is going to react with our leavening agents as well to just make our cake nice and light.
There we go. There we go.
I can't get that spoon in there. So let's do that. Cool, that's in there. And then I'm going to help you out over here. So like I said, bicarb, baking powder in here, some cocoa powder in there as well. Mix that together, and then we're going to go wet into dry.
Right.
Also, just because
Are you ready
the bowl
for it?
is bigger.
Also, just because the bowl, you can't put anything else in it. Okay. While we're busy pouring and while we're busy mixing, you studied chefing. You even lectured.
Yes.
Meneer Newman.
Yes.
Why baking? Out of everything in the foodie world, why baking?
There was one day, you know, back at band camp. No, I'm joking. So my earliest baking. Let's go back to my earliest baking memory. So my family, and I always say this, my family, every celebration is marked with food. Right?
Absolutely.
And I think that, like my dad, he loves cooking. My mom, she cooks also. Cooks also. But my dad really loves cooking, and my whole family, we just love eating in general. So there was one day in grade 4 in a technology class, Mrs. Greentree made us do this like fridge tart. And I was like, I like this. I like doing this type of thing. So I went home that day and I was like, Mommy, can I get into the kitchen? Can I do things? And then from then, every Sunday, I would do like the dessert.
Okay.
Right? And everybody knows
okay.
a young malva pudding was the first thing that was like
But
the
you know, you can't go
signature.
wrong. You can't go wrong.
You know what I'm saying? So from there, and then ever since then, I just knew that somehow my future is going to be filled with lots of food. And when I left high school, it was like a no-brainer. I've obviously like deviated from the path a little bit, but food has always been that thing that just brought me back. Or I've always just come back to food and baking in general.
And baking in general.
And it's just therapeutic, man. You're having a
is
stressful day.
therapeutic.
If nobody's being your leavening agent and bringing you up, bring yourself up.
Bring yourself up.
Do you know what I mean?
And so you said it's very therapeutic for you. Do you ever just wake up and go, today I'm going to bake?
Yes.
Wow, that's so...
So let me tell you, because people will come for me, especially my family once again, because they're like, so chef, when are you gonna bake for us? I'm like, I must bake when I feel that I want to bake. Do you know what I mean?
It's got to be natural. It's got to be a natural
So
feeling.
I'll wake up and I'll be like, I feel like a chocolate ganache tart or like a salted caramel something, you know, and then I'll make that.
There we go. I like it. Okay, so Sebastian, tell me about this batter. It goes into our springform baking tin that's been sprayed already. And how long do we bake it for? Because here's the thing, right? When you bake chocolate cakes, the difference between light and airy but still moist, and then light and airy but dry is a couple of minutes. So what's a
And
test?
also
How
with
do
a
we
chocolate
judge?
cake, it's very easy to like misjudge it. And you think,
Okay.
oh no, it can still go for a little bit. And there you opened your oven. Maybe you've got an older oven. And it's not chocolate brown anymore.
Maybe it's that
black.
oven that you need to put the cricket bat in to hold it. That's fine. That's okay. I had to do that for a long time myself. There
It's
we go.
okay, but you know we work through and
Yes.
we grow.
So, what are we looking for when we put that toothpick in, we pull it out?
Toothpick in, you want a dry crumb. Not a dry crumb. It's not going to be completely dry. There's going to be a little bit of...
Like a larger crumb?
Like a larger crumb on there. But you don't want it to be completely dry because nobody wants a dry cake.
Not today, not ever. South Africa, Sebastian's not going anywhere. He's going to come back. We're going to taste the chocolate cake. And don't forget to send your voice notes through. We'll be back with more Culinary Hotline Bling!
Ting, ting, ting.
Thank you, Bianca.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to the kitchen this fine Wednesday for the Culinary Hotline Bling! Now, Sebastian Newman has already delivered one amazing chocolate cake, and we have a final shot of it. It looks so good with a perfect slice, but we're keeping the chocolate train going. Sebastian, what's next?
We're doing a ooey gooey chocolate brownie.
So here's the thing, right? I upset Sebastian a little bit because I was like, please, will you bake the brownie according to like my standards, how I like a brownie? My brownie is so soft that it can't even stand together on its own, okay?
Perfect.
I need the brownie to be like liquid chocolate, and thank you for delivering. And today, Sebastian's gonna tell you just how to do that. But let's get started off with actually our beautiful, no, not the cake. We've got our beautiful viewers on the line. We've got some voice notes we want to listen to. Let's listen to the first one. Ready to go.
Morning, Expresso team. My name is Digos. I want to ask Sebastian, How does he make his cake wet? Because I always make my one dry. It always come out dry. So what's the secret there to make it like soft?
I think
I'm gonna say nothing. Go.
I think Digos is looking for the word moist.
So Digos is asking, what is the trick to having a cake remain moist? And you already gave us one tip, which was
Yeah.
using oil. Which is a
Yeah.
good one.
Oil,
what
yes.
else can you do? Which I think is also we're going to touch on it a bit with the brownie. What else can you
Yes.
do to get that moisture
I think
in the
one
cake?
important thing is not to overbake your cake. So you know, like I was saying earlier, when you're going to test it, so you do the toothpick test, so you do your knife test into your cake, and you want it to come out clean. With this cake especially, you'll get a little bit of a crumb still on your cake, and that's okay.
We were always taught, like, we want that toothpick to come out clean. It's not always the case for every single cake.
And also, can I say this?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. A lot of people are like very into like, oh, baking is this thing, I can't do it, it's so daunting, it's whatever. The recipe has been written for you. Follow the recipe, and you got.
Read the recipe twice, the ingredient list and the method, then start cooking. Because
Also,
people...
Digos make this chocolate cake.
Yes, because you're going to make this brownie. So, Bas, what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to ask you to get started on the brownie, then I'm going to come back to you to find out what you've done. Because we've got 2 more voice notes. Listen to the next one.
Hi, Expresso family. I love making chocolate cake for my family, but I'm not exactly a baker. When I do it with the recipe, and the recipe will tell me a time for it to be in the oven. Let's say 30 to 35 minutes. So I'll put the cake in the oven, and I'll do the full 35 minutes. When I put a toothpick in, it comes out clean, but when I cut into the cake after I've iced it, it's not fully cooked, and it's so disappointing and disheartening. I haven't given up because I love baking for my family, but is there any tips?
She said but I think I know what she was about to say. So here's the thing, right? This has happened to me as well, okay? Where I've baked the cake, I put the toothpick in, and it comes out clean, but then I cut it, and there's still like a little bit of a runny batter in the center. So, Professor Newman, can you help us with that?
Okay, so 2 things that I think she might be doing.
Okay.
Number 1, when you're testing your cake, let's just use this knife over here. When you're testing your cake, right, make sure that you go into the center.
The thickest part,
The thickest part of
Okay.
it, right? And that's what you're going to do. If you're going to go on the side, that bakes first. Because obviously when you put it in your baking tin, the baking tin is an inductor of the heat. So that's going to cook from the outside in. Right? So that's one thing. So just make sure she must do it in the middle. And the other thing is ovens are different. All ovens are different, okay? Especially if you're cooking without fan-forced heat. If you're using fan-forced heat, you need to lower your oven temperature just a little bit as to what the recipe says, because it might cook a little bit faster on the outside and still be uncooked on the inside.
I get you. Okay, Sebastian, you're going to do
And
this...
last thing. How she can also know a cake is fully baked. When you touch it, it will spring back.
Okay, the spring back.
Yes.
Gentle touch, like you're
like
not...
like you do to the ever in the store.
No,
Don't do that.
we're watching you. Okay, Sebastian, tell us
Okay,
very
cool.
quickly what you're going to do in case we don't get to the end.
Okay, got you. So
flour, cocoa.
Flour, cocoa in here. Then we're adding a little bit of salt, because you know with anything sweet, salt brings out that flavor.
Absolutely.
Then over there, you've got some melted butter in the pan. To that, you're going to add all of the sugar and half of that chocolate. I'm going to steal half of that chocolate and put it into my batter here. Now you're asking me why you're putting half in here, because when it bakes, that chocolatey goodness is just going to also...
I'm going in, right?
Going in.
Okay, tell me.
Chocolatey goodness is just going to go in there. And also, that's why when you test your brownie, you're not going to get a clean knife out
We
of it.
don't want that.
We don't want that.
So let's talk to the example of what we did. So this is what happens when you underbake, right? And underbaking sounds like a bad thing, but the results tell me that looks bad. No. So underbaking is when you're not evaporating the moisture. I'll say evaporating as a sense of a word.
Fully baking.
You're fully baking, but you're locking in all that
Yes.
moisture. It's ooey and it's gooey, and it's not as firm. But when it comes to brownies, that spectrum of like how people want it done between like cakey, fudgy, gooey.
So also another thing, you're talking about a cakey brownie, right? A cakey brownie, if we did butter, creamed it with our sugar, we're going to get more of a sponge texture.
Okay.
What we're doing here is again creating that very fudgy, very like moist brownie that we want with this result.
So don't cream, so the sugar's going to slowly melt, giving us extra moisture. I'm burning it because this flame is on. Okay, we've got exactly 2.5 minutes. Here's what's going to happen.
So what you're going to do is add the eggs into there. into the, okay.
Did you say so?
It's fine, man.
Wow,
And
okay.
then you're gonna put the vanilla essence in there. Make sure you mix that because this is obviously warm. We don't want scrambled eggs.
No, we
in
don't
our
want scrambled
brownies.
eggs.
And then you're gonna put wet into dry. We're gonna just fold that in, and you don't want to over mix your brownie batter because it's gonna start developing the gluten in the flour, which is gonna give you the chew that you don't want.
Okay. We don't
Okay.
want the chew. Okay, so we've got about 2 minutes left.
Cool.
Should we roll the voice note? And we're going to answer very quickly. We know what's happening. Roll the voice note.
A very good morning to Sebastian and Chef Clem. If a recipe says do not overmix, how would I know that I overmix? Please let me know. Thank you. Jocelyn Epicardens. Bye.
Bash, you've
Hey,
got 1 minute.
Jocelyn.
1
Okay,
minute.
Jocelyn,
Go.
very, very quickly. So all you're gonna do is, I'm gonna show you right here now. So I've added my wet into my dry. You're just gonna fold it through until you don't see any flour anymore. If there's a little bit of streaks, you okay. It's fine. You don't have to stand there and beat your batter. Just use the folding method, in and out, and there you got it.
That's it.
That's
Don't
it.
overmix it. That's all you got to do. Sebastian, you've been absolutely amazing.
Thank
These
you.
brownies going straight into my little doggy bag going home with me. South Africa, we're going to be coming through next week with some chef skills. So if there are any chef skills you want to learn, we might be bringing Sebastian back into the kitchen for that. Let us know on our social media pages. You've been amazing. See you next week for the Culinary Hotline Bling.
Ting, ting, ting!